Hi friends. In this video, we will listen to an excellent explanation of Home Sweet Hell movie. Home Sweet Hell is an American black comedy movie. In this video, we will see a wonderful story about a married man who has an affair and gets one of his co-workers pregnant. When he tells his wife, Mona, the truth, the situation soon spirals out of control. I hope you will all like this explanation video. If you really like this amazing explanation video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe the channel to watch the next video. So without further ado, let's hear the main story. Don and Mona Champagne are a married couple who live in a wealthy neighborhood in New Orleans. They have two lovely children, have a successful business running, and are highly respected in society. At first glance, it appears as if they are the perfect family, but the reality is completely different. Mona is actually a dominant woman who wants everything done her way. She has made several rules in the house that have to be followed by the children and even her husband if they disobey. She makes sure their consequences are, eat your broccoli, no cell phones, what no mom, you can't, are you crazy? Mona has also made a goal book in which she has planned her week's routine in advance. She calculates everything so meticulously that there isn't even a minute to spare. One example is that she has set exactly 15 minutes for the couple to have cuss at night. She has also specified the color of the undergarments they have to wear for the occasion. Don is not allowed to get intimate with her at any other time, and this has left him feeling desperate. I'm sure there are plenty of married men in the world who would give their left nut for 15 minutes a night. As for the kids, Allison and Andrew, they must always win everything they participate in, whether it's a school competition or a friendly match with a neighbor. They have no other choice. Mona is always lurking around and making sure they are giving their best rock, paper, scissors. You don't know what you've done, as expected. Don is not happy with the situation. He doesn't have any authority over the family and can't even influence his children. We learn that he is the manager of a furniture store, which is supposed to be a big deal. However, we also learned that Mona's wealthy parents provided the funds for the store, which means that Mona is technically the owner. This is probably why Don agrees with whatever she says and doesn't have his own opinion. He may own a furniture store, but he's sure not slinging any wood. One day, the furniture store announces a vacancy for the position of salesperson. To answer it, a beautiful young woman named Dusty shows up. Don is instantly smitten by her charm, and he fails to ask her the important questions regarding the job after she departs. Don's other employee, Les, suggests that he hire the girl. He reasons that they need a beautiful face to divert their minds from their busy schedule. Don also remembers his stressful marriage, so he hires Dusty without even considering the other applications. I'll sling some wood, yet on the other hand, we see a shady-looking man who has just killed someone. He watches a TV advertisement for DA's furniture store and gets an idea. The following day, the man starts following Don and his family wherever they go. Don is completely unaware of this, and he continues living his monotonous life, but as the days pass, he and Dusty start getting closer to one another. They also end up having coitus, which is a huge relief for Don. This is the first time in years he has shown passionate love. He's back to slinging wood for the next few weeks. Don appears to be at his happiest. He is always in a good mood, whether it be at home or work. He also starts ignoring his wife, as he has found someone more interesting than her. But as they say, every action has its consequences. Don has no idea what's in store for him. The next day, Dusty approaches him with the news that she is pregnant. This freaks him out, and he suggests she abort immediately. However, Dusty vehemently refuses, saying she wants to keep it. This leaves our guy in a very difficult situation. If his wife somehow finds out about this, he is doomed. That evening, he meets his friend Les for advice. The latter claims that women like Dusty are only after the money, so he suggests that Don pay her a good amount for her silence. Hearing the advice, Don collects $113,000 from his savings and just gives it to her the next day. You're worth exactly this much to me. Dusty acts a bit surprised in the AER. She is definitely not after money, but then she says, if that's what you really want, I'll take it after she departs. Don feels like he has dodged a bullet and breathes a sigh of relief, unbeknownst to him. Dusty goes to the same shady guy from earlier. His name is Murphy, and it turns out she is working for him. The gang goes after wealthy individuals and extorts money from them. In this instance, Murphy noticed Don's advertisement, so he researched his family for weeks. After confirming that they were wealthy, he sent his girlfriend, Dusty, to seduce him. The plan worked, and they have now gotten their money. However, Murphy is not satisfied, as he had expected more, so he orders Dusty to blackmail Dawn for more money, saying that you got him pregnant this time. Over the course of the next few days, she torments the poor guy, demanding that he pay her $25,000 in exchange for her silence. Since Dawn doesn't have that kind of cash, he finally decides to reveal everything to his wife. He goes into her room. Downs takes a few shots of whiskey and tries to tell the truth. However, he still can't put himself together as he is scared of the consequences, but when Mona shouts at him to speak up, he eventually discloses that he had an affair with Dusty, the store saleswoman. Surprisingly, she doesn't react much. Mona calmly opens a family photo album, and while going through its pages, she asks Don if he loves her. He nervously replies that he loves her and their children a lot. He also says that he would do anything to rectify his mistakes. In the next scene, we see that Mona has gone completely rogue, is shouting at the top of her lungs while throwing objects around the house. As Dawn sits on the couch in complete silence, she reminds him of all the sacrifices she and her parents have made for him just then. Dusty calls Dawn, which he doesn't answer. She is still blackmailing him for the money. When Mona sees this, she orders her husband to accept the deal. She says that anyone who messes with her family will end up in the grave. She then gives her husband two choices: either kill Dusty and finish this drama once and for all, or she will divorce him and take custody of their children. Hearing this, Don is left shell-shocked, but he isn't in any position to make demands either, so he reluctantly agrees. The next morning, Mona helps her husband by preparing a potent drug that will be used to incapacitate Dusty. Don has arranged for a meeting with her that evening, although he is still having second thoughts about it. Cut to that night, Dusty meets Da at his store, and the two engage in a friendly conversation. He talks to her in a weird manner but assures her that everything is fine. He then offers her the spiked drink, which she consumes without thinking much. After a while, when the drug's effects start showing, Dusty realizes that she has been betrayed. However, before she can run away from there, she collapses to the ground. After a while, Mona arrives there and orders her husband to put the body in their car's trunk when they reach home. Don is ordered to strike the woman with a hammer, but he is too scared to do it, so Mona takes matters into her own hands and finishes Dusty off. Dusty may have nailed her husband, but she prefers the hammer. She then takes the dead body to the garage and dismembers it bit by bit while doing so. She doesn't show any signs of remorse or disgust, instead, she appears to be enjoying it. Don, on the other hand, is so overwhelmed that he ends up puking in the next scene. Murphy and his gang grow concerned as Dusty has been in contact for the past few days. They suspect that Don has something to do with it, so they leave a note for him asking him to meet them in private. They have also attached some pictures of his family threatening to harm them if he doesn't comply. Don met them at a bar that night. He confidently says that he gave $225,000 to Dusty when they last met. Murphy believes that she has run away with the money and is never coming back again, so he asks Don to compensate him with $25,000 more or else he will bring harm to his family, not knowing what to do. Don once again approaches his wife and reveals everything to her, and just like before, she appears calm, almost as if she has a plan in mind. That night, they arrive outside Murphy's house, which appears to be vacant. The moment Da stays in his car while Mona heads inside, she then places something in the refrigerator, which turns out to be the dismembered body parts of Dusty. Just then, a gang member shows up with his girlfriend, possibly to have a romantic time, but Mona doesn't let them begin as she brutally stabs them with a knife. In his final breaths, the gang member calls Murphy and explains what just transpired. Meanwhile, Mona leaves the house and uses a disposable phone to contact the police. She alerts them that a murder has just taken place. In the next scene, Murphy arrives home with a friend and is shocked to see the chaos. When he opens the refrigerator, he also finds his girlfriend's body parts. This is when he realizes that he has been set up. At the same time, the cops show up outside the house and shoot his friend dead. Murphy is also about to be killed, but he somehow manages to escape by using a secret underground door. One day, a concerned Don asks his wife if she has a traumatic past. He wonders how she can be so good at killing. In response, Mona breaks down in tears and emotionally says that her parents have always treated her nicely. She then angrily claims that if Don asks her this question again, she will kill him and mutilate him just like she did with Dusty. Hearing this, Don becomes terrified. From that day on, he starts living in constant fear and tries his best to avoid her. Another day, when a neighbor's dog enters their house, Mona angrily hands it over to its owners. She claims that she will kill the dog if it comes here again, although the owners simply laugh, thinking that it's a joke. Mona is dead serious. "I'm stone cold." The movie then cuts to Andrew's birthday, where several guests have arrived for the party. When Don enters the kitchen to get something, he witnesses the same dog's corpse and becomes horrified outside. Andrew and another kid are engaged in a game, but he appears to be losing. This obviously doesn't sit well with Mona, so she says out loud that the other kid is on steroids when the boy's mom, who is suffering from Crohn's disease, tries to intervene. Mona makes fun of her condition. The evil woman also chastises her own son, calling him a failure. She instead hugs her daughter, Allison, who appears to be her favorite child. Don witnesses all this from afar and feels bad for his son. He fears that when Allison grows up, she will end up becoming like her mother, so he decides to put an end to all of this while everyone is distracted. Don goes to the garage, turns off the electricity, and short-circuits the lamp so that it will emit a spark when turned on. He then opens the gas valves, allowing the room to fill with gas. After a while, he calls his wife and asks her to get some beef from the garage's refrigerator. The latter obliges, and as soon as she turns on the lamp switch, an explosion takes place, ending her life. In the final scene, we see that Dawn is living a happy life with her children. He has purchased a new house and even a car with the money his wife left behind. He is now finally free of the constraints that were put on him, but as the movie ends, the gangster Murphy follows Dawn on his motorcycle.